the stock market, meaning companies' new highs.
I'm not fucking leaving.
The show goes on.
Nuts! They're nuts! They know nothing!
An online network called Internet.
Well, it's very hip to be on the Internet right now.
Welcome, my fellow degenerates. We are here with special guest Dario Alioto for a new episode of Market Mania. I am going to be your host today, Brett Ritchie. I got Tony, the producer. Dario, we already talked about. We're going to cover JP Morgan caving to Bitcoin. Dogecoin still hanging in there. Bitclout, we'll get into that in a bit. First story of the day, Tesla sells Bitcoin. Obviously, there was a lot of news around them buying Bitcoin back in maybe January or so. In their earnings call yesterday, it came out that they sold, I believe, like 20% of their holdings, or approximately. Dario, what do you make of this? I know you're a big Bitcoin fan. Did you like Tesla selling it? Not like it? Don't care?
I like the fact that it didn't dump so much because, as you know, many times on social, they try to ride this sort of potentially bearing waves. And the fact that it didn't dump quite much, it actually kind of dumped a bit and then fully recovered and then it went over it. It is a really good thing. So because that could be a fear that many people new to these cryptos, they are always say, okay, but when they will sell, but this institution that they are buying a lot, when they will sell, they don't get the point that they will just be mainly accumulating, selling less than what we are going to buy eventually later on. So it's not a big concern. And possibly, I tend not to believe what they say officially, but this time it is actually possible that they really needed to prove to their stakeholders that this is not like a hole where you throw the cash, the fiat, and you might not ever see those back. They probably really wanted to prove that you can actually store the money there and then get it back whenever you need. And when you don't need them again for a while, just put them back into Bitcoins and have a better sort of value. Yeah, and so that's it. I'm glad that it didn't dump so much. It actually didn't dump at all. So,
yeah, I think that's a good point. That the liquidity both in and out is really strong. I think Elon even said on the call he was a little surprised by the liquidity in Bitcoin, how easy it was for them to sell. I mean, they sold hundreds of millions of dollars worth. Didn't really affect the market at the time. Tony, what did you make of this?
You know, Elon Musk saying that he did this to prove the liquidity of Bitcoin, I think is BS, honestly. I think this is Tesla scrambling to show some profits. And the Tesla bears are out in force today. This guy, Squawkbox, Tesla's burning money, not a viable business model. They're losing shares in Europe and China. Sales were down. Bad print across the board. Really, the only way they were able to show any profits this quarter was by selling EV credits and by selling Bitcoin. So this chart right here shows the net income minus automotive regulatory credits. So if they didn't have these strange contortions of the market, they wouldn't be profitable. So I feel like this is some headwind for Bitcoin. They could have another good quarter next quarter, but I don't know. I think Bitcoin's facing a U.S. recession. Tesla, I'm sorry, is facing a U.S. recession, and I don't know how these numbers turn around in the next year, honestly. What am I missing here?
I think we need Matt for that, the Tesla bull, to really drive that case home. I'll try and make it. I'm kind of neutral on Tesla. I just like watching it. But their technology is so far ahead, right? That's what Matt would say, that they're just going to win self-driving. They're going to win in these certain areas. And the costs keep lowering. Like, the product is great, right? Everyone I know that has a Tesla is like, I love this car. So it's well ahead of like a Theranos or whatever. The guy saying this isn't a viable business, I don't quite agree with that. If you have a phenomenal product, you can sort of figure the rest out. And like, the brand is tremendous, product is tremendous. I think that saying it's not a viable business is idiotic. Like, that's dumber than saying Tesla's going to be like 5 trillion next year or something. I don't know. It's a viable business. They make great cars. People love them. So I don't know. Speaking of a business that is maybe not as beloved as Tesla, certainly inspires both hate and love. let's get into Bitclout. Dario, I know you are a big Bitclout fan. I personally have talked shit about it on this show, but let's hear the bull case for Bitclout. If you want to talk a little bit about why you like that platform.
Of course. Look, I've been there just for about 2 weeks. And the thing about it is that for sure, I expect that any social network, Twitter-like, which goes into the blockchain, so it is uncensorable and attach a token which with every profile, which such a bonding curve, which is gonna give value to early investor, it can only be successful. I don't know if Bitclout will be monopolist. I don't think so. For sure, there will be many other attempts to do this better. But it is also true that it is possible even to move from platform to platform, just like it happens in DeFi. So I have invested in it, my energy and also some money, and I'm also pioneering as a poker player, trying to build my own tokenomics. I also put there somehow the treasury of Italian crypto community which I'm building. Basically, everybody can put there a purpose for what they want to do their own profile with their own identity, or do whatever they want, even start a business there somehow. And the fact that they can fully customize their own tokenomics, because it's a great thing. They can change the founder rewards, which means that every time somebody buys your coin, it gives you a piece of it, okay? Second, you can put your own tokenomics. For example, on my own profile, I promise that I'm not going to sell any of it until Bitcoin reaches $300,000, and also other things. Why so? Because the biggest problem of this thing is that who has a lot of coin can theoretically rug pull everybody else. Okay, so it is important that the creator of his own profile has most of it, and he has to commit. They're gonna keep the thing growing and is not gonna cash out too early. Okay, so if you trust who you are following, if you trust who did that coin, if you believe that you can believe his word and he's saying, look, I'm not selling because I'm doing a one-way investment, and I hope that this gets traction, and I'm ready to lose if I'm wrong. Well, it's a really nice thing. For example, when I'm selecting who I'm investing to, I try to select people which they look like they got that this thing should be successful. And so it means that they will not be cashing out. They will keep buying. They will keep investing, buying eventually any dips, and working to make this thing go.
Like, just saying.
Look, somebody told me this, and I said, look, but each crypto, it can sound like Ponzi-like thing, and but the Ponzi thing, basically, it's that the latest investor, they're gonna pay the earliest one. This is what is actually happening here, but this is what is happening in every crypto thing. Okay, in NFT, what is happening in NFT, guys? Come on.
No, I like NFTs, but like a platform owned by its users. See, like Bitclout, I think it is a great idea. The like decentralized social network. They did a few major problems, right? They opted in people without their permission. They raised all this money from VCs. Now they're larping as cypherpunks. Okay, it's like pick one route. And then 3, they had the early launch for only the insiders, where they got to trade all the good coins. But like, it wasn't a fair launch to the public. And so they've made several moves that come off as like it's a shady team that's not to be trusted behind this project. And so now they're claiming it's decentralized, it's owned by its users. No, they've raised over $100 million in venture capital. This is not a platform owned by its users. That's ridiculous. So and then the guy jacked Diamond Hands from Wall Street Bets, when everyone knows who he is, Nader. Like I don't like it at all. That's my opinion. I think like the idea is great, as you say. It's the team in execution that just bothers me to the point where I would never ever touch this thing.
It does have a bit of an ick factor to it, I have to admit. This Diamond Hands guy is a bit of a chode. Now, I think the concept here is inevitable. I just don't think this is the best way to do it. You know, what's to stop Twitter from launching their own thing and kind of doing it a little bit more legitimately than this? It would
Probably
seem
their shareholders. I think Jack would like that, right? Jack's always been pretty supportive of Bitcoin and crypto rails.
Well, the other thing that weirds me out is you can't really trade the token on any other exchange except for the Bitclout website. As for now, Dario, do you know, are they going to be available on other exchanges soon?
They have just published it the last few days. How to do it, how to connect the happy from the exchanges. So now there is the technical base. Any exchanges which decides that they want to list them, they can technically do it. This is really fresh things. Maybe I'll tell you later in the pick of the day what this is about, because I don't want to talk about it too early.
All right, so we'll save some of the best for last. Right now, let's get into some Dogecoin. It's been a hot topic lately. It's still holding on. A lot of people thought this thing was going to plummet back to single-digit cents now. It's still at around 27 cents or so. This article here, it's one of the Meltem Demirs. I'm not quite sure how to say her name, but she's been around crypto a long time. And I think this is a common perspective a lot of like crypto people have, is that like Doge is not a real thing. I disagree, right? I like the memes factor of Doge. It doesn't pretend to be anything it's not. Almost 99% of crypto is like bullshit vaporware where people are pretending, making all these grandiose claims that never come true. Doge can't let you down. I like it. Dario, I know you're not a big Doge fan. What do you think about Doge?
What I think about Doge is that people will get troubles with it. But I mean, it doesn't mean that it cannot go higher. It depends how Elon will be able to keep going through it. What I think about it is that Elon have been trying to somehow test his own ego. He's like a big young boy that likes to do funny things, and sometimes maybe he smokes too much. So what happens then that he wants to have fun. And unless they stop it, they will keep doing it. And what happened basically is that he has probably the same problem as many other billionaires, that they like a lot Bitcoin, but they don't have enough, because it's not so easy to move a few billions that quick. And so possibly he has some sort of incentive in pumping something else. If you notice, since he's been trying to shield it harder than before, because it was already doing it, but since when he started doing it really a lot, Doge went tenfold, when Bitcoin went like 50% more or something. So basically, they somehow, now they are at $35 billion market cap, where Bitcoin is at 1,000 billion. It means that we can assume that it got taken out of money that would eventually go into Bitcoin, like 10, 15 billion. It means that somehow, if you are a billionaire and you want Bitcoin price to be just a bit lower, that so you can save a few, it's a good idea to pump Doge, because I mean, people will buy. It's kind of neutral. It's kind of neutral. Like, you are not pumping anybody. You are pumping like just a fucking dog. And this way you can just accumulate cheaper, and eventually these people will possibly take profit on Bitcoin after you filled your bags, or will just get wrecked. You don't really care. And I don't think that it does it for this reason, but when he thinks about it, he finds some sort of incentive in keep doing it, because ultimately I'm sure that he's accumulating more Bitcoin than Doge. He doesn't really care about that, right?
I mean, maybe it's quite a conspiracy theory. I never even thought about that. It's like he's already the richest guy in the world. And I could, but you know what? You're probably right. I think a lot of those guys would still like to save some money on get cheaper bit. That's just how they think a lot of the time. Whereas, like, I would not care at all. Like, if I wouldn't waste my time with this, to be honest. Like, you're already the richest guy in the world. You can do things. You don't worry about money. I'm not spending my time on on financial instruments.
I just wonder. I wonder how much Doge sell-off went into the Tesla earnings. You know, I know they're holding a lot. So
yeah. Well, speaking of caving into Bitcoin, here we got JP Morgan caving to Bitcoin. That sounds like a Tony the producer kind of topic.
well, the long and storied history of JP Morgan hating on Bitcoin is one of the best stories to come out of the crypto space. We all knew it right when Jamie Dimon came out and said Bitcoin is a fraud. We were just licking our chops for the future date at which he would have to cave. And of course he finally has. So let me tell you what, Bitcoin is here to stay, and JP Morgan just proved it. And I'm sorry, show me the Bitcoin bear. Does he exist anymore, or is this solid with JP Morgan signing on?
I don't know why anybody even cares about what these people say or announce. They're just doing their job. All these years, they've been throwing shit to Bitcoin because their job couldn't touch Bitcoin. They couldn't make money out of it. It was just their biggest enemy. Now they're forced to get into it because they might lose a lot of customers because they want Bitcoin. Everybody wants to have exposure. So they cannot anymore say, oh, this is full shit, and expect their customer to say, okay, I will not buy it. Their customers say, no, this is not full shit. I want it. You better take it. So they have no other choice. And every time they were just throwing shit to it, I was laughing. It was obvious and inevitable. It is their job to bring to their company higher revenues. And until this point, it wasn't convenient for them to talk well about it. So this was just normal for me.
Yeah, and Brett, so I guess I'm wondering, is this actually helpful? Because it doesn't look like they're going to be doing or settling in Bitcoin. They'll probably doing something like a paper contract or a future or something. Could actually add fake supply into the system and pop the Bitcoin price, at least for the short term. We've seen this happen before. So even as I'm happy JP Morgan getting in, is there a possibility that they could even get into the manipulation of the price of Bitcoin like they do with gold and silver?
I doubt it. I mean, like people are going to go to jail or whatever. They're such a heavily regulated company. I mean, to be honest, if you look at their history of fines and Wells Fargo and all these companies, they just get billion-dollar fines all the time because they're cheating and engaging in this criminal behavior. I think that's a step too far. Like that could be a rogue trader, right? That where he like gets into a position he wasn't supposed to, and he tries to cook the books and like trade his way out of it. I could see that happening, but like JP Morgan saying like, let's go and manipulate Bitcoin. They're this, I don't know how many billions of dollars that business is worth, but it's a lot. They're not going to risk that. I mean, Bitcoin is still a small percent of what JP Morgan's doing as a whole. And like, that's likely to stay that way for quite some time. I mean, I like Bitcoin a lot, but compared to like everything else on JP Morgan's balance sheet, all of their customers, like Bitcoin's still not going to be like a majority position for quite some time, if ever. But in any event, let's get to the picks of the day.
Say, before we do that, I have a question coming in from chat from DC Shoe. He said, hey, thanks for answering my question Friday. So to expand on that thought, is there a company that is the next GoDaddy for crypto? I would just point people to this project. It's called Zilliqa. And what they do is basically blockchain-based domains, and they've got a token called ZIL. So if you're looking,
they've been around forever.
Yeah, they have been for a while. I'm surprised they haven't caught a little more traction. Actually, I got into these guys pretty early. I actually bought some of my own domains, and then even personally haven't done any development on those domains because, you know, it just hasn't caught the traction. But if there is going to be one, I imagine it would be Zilliqa. So. But we have got to get to some picks of the day, so let me cue that up. And Brett, I noticed you don't have any safety glasses, so I want you to be particularly careful today.
Just regular. I always have my safety glasses on. These are permanent safety glasses.
Just be ready to duck. Here we go.
Yeah. Okay, safety glasses, not necessarily on, but it depends on your vantage point. This is not investment advice, but we're going to do a pick of the day. Dario, what do you got for us?
Again, Bitclout, as I was anticipating before, they should be released on a few exchange anytime soon. There is finally the technical base to do it, and this is also important because until now it was not possible to trade it. Bitclout, you could only buy in, you could not trade it out, and if you wanted to trade it out, you had to get a discount to somebody, so it was inconvenient. As we know, every time you list some coin, some exchange, it should pop, right? So we don't know when, we don't know how. We know that now it is like 14% under its high of 2 weeks ago, and this thing should get traction at least until somebody else do some better product with the same idea. So I'll bet some on that.
Okay. Tony, the producer, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna go actually pull it up here, but it's called Pirate Chain, ARRR, and I just love this thing. It's it competes with Monero, and Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante and crypto vigilante, has been talking a lot about this one. Holy cow, it's been pumping a lot too. I really like Pirate Chain. It's a smart privacy coin, and I think privacy coins are the future. So I'm going to that one.
I love the ticker R.
I know, that's another reason I love it.
That's super good. I'm going to go with Solana. It took a little bit of a dip. I know it's up massive in the last year, but this looks like a train that's going to keep on rolling and really get in the mix with Binance Smart Chain as sort of the sidecar or whatever to Ethereum, a strong competitor to Ethereum. So I like what's going on Solana, and I think it's buying. I like buying dips and stuff, even if it's up a bunch. I think you could do worse. So that's going to do it for today. I didn't even come up with a quote of the day.
Just quote the Pope. My
just
favorite
rep
quote
something.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Birdman. Top 10 rapper all time, by the way, Birdman. Put some respect on his name. I ran it up. Now they all hating on me. Playing with me, you better put some respect on it. That's going to do it for today. We will see you tomorrow, if there is a tomorrow. But for now, it is lights out.
I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine. I never sleep if I don't have. I never sleep. I never sleep if I don't have my medicine.
Time to right the wrong, so your hands in the air if you like the song. If you're going over there, take it twice as long. Last time ain't talking about Tylenol. Oh, I bet you'd like to know. You can come around the way if you're trying to go. If you want to switch lanes for a pot of gold, or a domino, out of control. The usual, get mad cause I'm looking at your girl.
Switch it up.
I do it so much louder than everything you've heard. Everybody heard, got the word that the world wasn't turning. Act like you're in a jury, however turn it where I would turn it. Can't lie like it's Mississippi burning. Don't act like you're in a daze. I imagine should've looked the other way. Couldn't clear space in my mind, was afraid of the time strobe light flicking in the moonlight. I'm in the mood right now, how about tonight? My interview